Commander Rena Holt stood at the edge of the observation deck, staring down at the derelict starship, drifting silently in the shadow of the dead planet. The wreck was enormous, but its hull was scarred and blackened by time, radiation, and cosmic debris. Even from a distance, the team could see that it had once been a majestic vessel, capable of great speed and carrying hundreds of lives. Now, it floated alone, a skeleton of forgotten ambition. "Are we really going in?" Malik asked, his voice tight with nervous energy. The engineer's hands fidgeted with the straps of his tool pack. He was the youngest member of the crew, but his talent for mechanical work had earned him a place on this mission. Rena didn't answer immediately. She had led dozens of exploration missions, but something about this wreck made her stomach tighten. Perhaps it was the sheer silence of the place, the way it seemed to swallow even the hum of their ship's engines. Or maybe it was the warning in the data logs. The ship had disappeared centuries ago, long before human exploration reached this sector. And yet, here it was. "Prepare for boarding," she said finally, her voice calm but firm. "Cameras, scanners, everything ready. Malik, you're with me. Tessa, keep the drone in the air. We need eyes everywhere. And everyone else, stay close. Remember, we don't know what we're dealing with." The team suited up, the hiss of airlocks filling the chamber as helmets sealed and suits pressurized. Rena led the way to the docking port, their small shuttle gliding silently toward the wreck. It was an eerie sight, stars reflected in the hull like frozen sparks. The ship's surface pitted and scratched by years of neglect. Malik scanned the boarding hatch with a handheld device. "Hull integrity is mostly intact," he said. "But there are some weak spots. We'll need to be careful." Rena nodded. "Once we're inside, stay alert. We don't know if the life support systems are functioning or if there's anything or anyone left." The shuttle attached to the wreck with a soft magnetic latch. The boarding ramp extended, and the team stepped carefully onto the ship. The first thing they noticed was the silence. It wasn't the natural silence of space, which at least carried a sense of distance. This was heavier, thicker, almost as if the wreck itself was holding its breath. Tessa activated her drone, sending it ahead through the long corridor. Its light swept over walls covered in dust and grime, revealing panels etched with strange symbols and logos no one on the team recognized. The ship had clearly been built by an alien civilization, though its design bore faint human influences. Rena's scanner beeped softly. "There's still some residual energy in the power grid," she said. "Not much, but enough to keep environmental systems barely alive. Temperature is stable and air is breathable, though thin. Keep your helmets on, though. We don't know about pathogens or chemical residues." The team moved forward cautiously. Every step echoed down the long metallic halls. Occasionally, they would stop to inspect strange machinery or long-abandoned consoles, marveling at the alien engineering. Malik ran his fingers along a control panel, wiping away decades of dust. "This is amazing," he whispered. "It's like nothing I've ever seen." "Focus," Rena said, though she couldn't hide the awe in her own voice. The wreck was a treasure trove of history, technology, and mystery. Whoever had built this ship had been brilliant, far ahead of humanity in many ways. As they reached the ship's central hub, Tessa's drone suddenly froze mid-air, the lights flickering. "Wait," she said. "I think I saw something." Rena moved closer, her hand instinctively on her sidearm. But when she looked at the screen, the corridor was empty. The drone's camera had picked up a shadow moving behind one of the bulkheads, but when the team turned, there was nothing there. "It's probably just a trick of the lighting," Malik suggested, though his voice lacked conviction. Rena frowned. "Maybe. Keep moving, but stay sharp. Cameras on all angles. I don't want surprises." They continued deeper into the ship, documenting everything. The hallways opened into large chambers filled with remnants of the ship's past life. broken furniture, scattered tools, and what appeared to be the remains of sleeping quarters. Everything was coated in a layer of cosmic dust, undisturbed for centuries. Rena's eyes caught something unusual: footprints in the dust. They were faint, almost invisible, but undeniably there. She crouched to examine them. "These aren't old," she said. "Someone or something has been here recently." The team froze. Tessa swallowed nervously. "But the ship's been abandoned for hundreds of years." Rena nodded. "Exactly. So who or what left these?" Malik shivered. "Maybe another crew? Salvagers?" "Maybe," Rena said cautiously, "but we need to be careful. Let's keep documenting and see if we find more signs." As they moved forward, the corridors grew narrower and darker. Their flashlights and the drone's beams illuminated walls covered in alien writing, the meanings long lost to time. Occasionally, a panel would flicker with a faint light, as if the ship itself were waking from a long sleep. Suddenly, the drone's camera picked up a figure in the background. It was humanoid in shape, but the details were unclear. Just a blur, a shadow that seemed to move on its own. The figure appeared in several frames, always just at the edge of the camera's vision. "Did you see that?" Tessa whispered, her voice trembling. Rena examined the footage on her tablet. The shape was unmistakable, and it wasn't any member of their team. It seemed to drift along the corridors, always staying just out of reach. "Keep calm," Rena said, though her own heart raced. "We don't know what it is. Could be a reflection, could be a glitch. But everyone, stay alert." They continued exploring, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger. Every shadow, every flicker of light seemed to hide something just beyond their vision. Malik kept glancing over his shoulder, mumbling about the cold draft brushing against him. Rena felt it too, a sudden chill that made her hair stand on end. Hours passed, and the team reached the ship's bridge. Consoles hummed faintly, some screens flickering with alien data. They spent time recording, scanning, and trying to understand the ship's last mission. Every once in a while, the cameras would pick up that same shadow in the background, always watching, always just out of reach. Rena finally decided to call a break. "Let's set up a temporary base here," she said. "We need to review the footage and rest. No one wanders alone." As they settled down, Malik spoke up, his voice barely a whisper. "Commander, I think I saw it. I felt it, really close, like it was right behind me, but when I turned, nothing." Rena's eyes narrowed. "Everyone's going to feel that way. Fear makes us imagine things. But we need to keep our wits about us. Cameras on all corridors, lights steady, no wandering. Understood?" The night, or what passed for night in the ship's artificial environment, was long. The team monitored cameras, listened for strange noises, and tried to sleep in shifts. Every creak, every metallic groan of the old ship set their nerves on edge. Before Rena finally rested her head, she reviewed the camera feed one last time. That's when she saw it clearly. The figure wasn't in the room with them. It was reflected in the corner of a monitor, staring directly at the camera. Its form was humanoid but alien, almost shimmering, impossible to define. It didn't move away. It just watched. Rena swallowed hard. For the first time since she'd taken command of countless missions, she felt truly unsettled. The camera had captured someone, or something, inside the wreck, and they were not alone. The team slept fitfully, the feeling of being observed never leaving them. Rena knew one thing with certainty: whatever had been following them in the shadows was waiting, and tomorrow they would find out exactly what it wanted. Rena woke to the faint hum of the ship's systems, the dull light of the artificial ceiling flickering in slow, uneven pulses. She rubbed her eyes and glanced at the monitor beside her. The shadow was gone, or at least it seemed gone. For a moment she allowed herself a breath, convincing herself it had only been a reflection, a trick of the ancient cameras. But deep down, she knew better. Malik stirred beside her, yawning and stretching. "Still think it's nothing?" he asked, glancing nervously at the darkened corridors. "Nothing we can explain yet," Rena said cautiously. "But that doesn't mean it's nothing at all. Stay alert. Cameras active at all times. We need eyes on every corridor." Tessa, their drone operator, appeared from the control room, rubbing her temples. "Commander, the drone picked up movement again. It's following us, I think." Rena sighed. "Show me." Tessa handed over the tablet. The footage made Rena's stomach tighten. The same humanoid figure appeared again, drifting just behind corners, disappearing and reappearing in multiple frames. Unlike the previous night, it seemed to be aware of their movements, anticipating them, almost as if it were playing a silent game of pursuit. "We need to understand what it is," Rena said. "It's not attacking, not yet, but it's clearly intelligent. Malik, I want a full environmental scan. Tessa, keep the drone close but don't provoke it. Everyone else, stay together. Move cautiously, and no sudden moves." As they moved through the ship's long corridors, the air grew colder. Every metallic clang echoed unnaturally, and the hum of the ship's failing systems felt louder than ever. Shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally, and at times, Rena could swear she saw the figure in her peripheral vision, only to find nothing when she turned her head. Malik's scanner beeped suddenly. "Commander, there's a life sign ahead. Faint, but it's there. Definitely not human." Rena's heart skipped. "Where?" He pointed to a sealed chamber at the far end of the corridor. The door looked ancient but functional. Panels flared faintly as Malik ran diagnostic codes. "It's old tech, alien origin. Door hasn't been opened in centuries, but the energy signature is active. Whoever or whatever is inside, it's alive." Tessa's drone hovered closer. Its lights illuminated the door, and for a brief moment, the camera caught the figure standing just beyond the walls, motionless. Then it vanished, like mist dissolving in sunlight. Rena studied the scene. "We open it cautiously. If it's hostile, we retreat. Everyone ready?" The team nodded, tension taut in every movement. Malik interfaced with the door's control panel, the alien symbols flickering as his tools connected. Slowly, carefully, the door slid open with a hiss of long, dormant hydraulics. Inside, the chamber was dimly lit, filled with machinery that hummed faintly. And in the center, a humanoid figure lay in stasis. Its body was thin but well-formed, skin faintly translucent, shimmering in the low light. The eyes were closed, but there was a strange sense of awareness even in apparent sleep. Rena held her breath. "It's alive, but frozen in stasis." Tessa whispered. "It looks human, almost, but not exactly. Alien features, glimmering eyes under the lids, faintly." Malek stepped closer, eyes wide. "This is incredible. Whoever built this being was meant to survive centuries." Rena's mind raced. "It explains the shadows. The figure on the cameras wasn't trying to scare us, it was reacting. Its biosigns must have interacted with the ship's systems, and the cameras picked up glimpses of it moving in stasis energy fields. That's why we thought it was following us." Tessa frowned. "So it was awake, kind of?" "Partially, yes. Something in the stasis reacted to us," Rena said. "It's intelligent. We need to document everything, but carefully. No sudden moves." They began scanning the chamber, recording the alien's vitals, and examining the surrounding machinery. The figure began to stir slightly, a faint movement under the translucent skin. Its eyes opened slowly, revealing iridescent patterns that shifted in the dim light. Rena could feel the intelligence behind them, a presence that was aware of their every move. The alien's voice wasn't audible at first. It communicated in a series of telepathic impressions, thoughts and emotions transmitted directly into the minds of the crew. Malik stumbled back, clutching his head. I can hear it in my mind. Rena held up her hand. Calm yourself. Let it show us what it wants. No sudden actions. The telepathy became clearer. Images flashed in their minds. The ship, its crew, the mission that had gone wrong centuries ago. Rena felt a wave of history and loss wash over her, the aliens' memories vivid and haunting. The crew learned of a great mission, one that had aimed to explore distant star systems and bring knowledge back to its civilization. Something catastrophic had occurred, forcing the ship to be abandoned. The alien had been left behind, preserved in stasis until someone arrived. Malik's voice was trembling. It wants us to understand. It's not hostile, it's lonely. Rena nodded. We've encountered ancient beings before, but this is different. We are the first humans to meet it. We have to be careful, but we also have a chance to learn. The alien rose slowly, stepping out of the stasis chamber. Its movements were fluid, precise, and almost ethereal. As it moved closer, it reached out, not aggressively, but in a gesture of recognition. The crew instinctively stepped back, but Rena held her ground. Do you trust us? She asked aloud, though the question was meant more for herself than anyone else. In their minds, a calm sensation spread. The alien's thoughts were gentle, inquisitive, and cautious. It extended its hand fully, offering a simple greeting. Rena took a deep breath and mirrored the gesture, the connection bridging centuries of isolation. The alien's eyes glimmered brighter, and images of its civilization filled their minds. A species advanced in technology, culture, and exploration, yet fallen to an unknown calamity. Its knowledge was vast, almost beyond comprehension, yet its communication was patient, seeking to share rather than dominate. Tessa's voice was barely audible. It's showing us. Its story, everything, the ship, the crew, what happened. Rena nodded. We'll record everything, carefully, respectfully. This is history, and maybe a lesson for humanity. As the alien guided them through the ship, they found chambers filled with records, consoles storing centuries of knowledge, and tools designed for technology that human science had not yet imagined. Malik examined a small device that seemed to generate energy from thin air. This could change everything we know about propulsion, he whispered. Rena kept her focus on the alien, making sure the crew did not act recklessly. The being's presence was overwhelming, its intelligence intimidating, yet there was also a sense of vulnerability, a longing for connection after centuries of isolation. Suddenly, a loud clang echoed through the corridor. The alien paused, ears, or whatever served as its auditory organs, twitching. Shadows in the corners of the room shifted unnaturally. Stay together, Rena commanded. Something else is here. The team moved cautiously, scanning with both cameras and sensors. For the first time, they realized that the ship wasn't entirely empty. Residual systems activated in response to the alien's presence, creating echoes, illusions, and false readings. What they had thought were haunting shadows before had been the ship reacting to the alien's energy. Now, with the being fully awake, the anomalies intensified. The figure appeared again, not just in cameras this time, but glimpsed at the edge of the corridors, yet this time it seemed to retreat when noticed, almost as if testing the humans. Rena understood. The entity, whatever it was not hostile, but cautious. It was studying them, learning who they were. Commander, Malik whispered, I think it wants us to follow it. Not force, just follow. Rena nodded slowly. All right, everyone stay close, cameras running, and be ready for anything. The alien led them through narrow passageways, rooms that contained alien technology, and laboratories where experiments had once been conducted. The more they explored, the more the ship revealed. Notes written in alien symbols filled walls, devices that seemed impossible hummed quietly, and holographic maps displayed routes to distant star systems, lost to time. By the time they returned to the bridge, the crew felt a mixture of awe and exhaustion. Malik sank into a chair, running his hands through his hair. This is beyond anything we imagined. This civilization, it's incredible. Rena looked at the alien, now standing silently in the center of the room. Its eyes met hers, and a wave of understanding passed between them. The being wanted them to see, to learn, and perhaps to continue what its civilization had begun. The alien communicated a final thought for the night. Trust, learn, record, share. Rena nodded. We will. We promise. The cameras continued to record as the team set up a temporary base on the bridge. They would review footage, catalog the aliens' technology, and prepare for the next day. Despite the unease, a sense of hope filled the room. Humanity was standing on the edge of discovery, guided by courage, curiosity, and the aliens' unexpected trust. As Rena lay down for a short rest, she couldn't help but glance at the monitor one last time. The figure, once a shadow, now a living, aware being, watched over the team. Not with malice, but with curiosity, anticipation, and perhaps even a sense of relief. For the first time since arriving at the wreck, Rena felt a spark of excitement amidst the fear. Humanity had faced the unknown before, and it always rose to the challenge. Now, standing in the shadow of a lost civilization, the crew of the small human ship realized they were part of something far greater than themselves, something that could change not just their lives, but the future of human exploration across the stars. And the alien watched, silently, as if approving, aware that these humans, fragile, courageous, and endlessly curious, might be the bridge to a future it had longed to see. The next day began with a quiet tension on the wreck. The crew moved cautiously, their every step measured, every glance alert. The alien, now fully awake, followed them silently at first, then began to guide them through corridors and chambers with purpose. Its presence was calming in some ways, but there was also an undeniable gravity, an unspoken warning that the ship held secrets and not all of them were safe. Rena led the team down a hallway lined with consoles and display panels. Each panel flickered to life as they approached, responding to the alien's presence. Holographic images appeared, showing star systems long forgotten, planets rich with life, and maps of civilizations lost to time. The alien reached out, its hand hovering over a console, and Rena felt a pulse in her mind. A stream of memories, visions, and emotions, not words, but understanding. Malik whispered, "It's showing us. Everything. Their history, their culture. It's incredible." "Yes," Rena said, keeping her voice low. "We need to learn, but carefully. Remember, we are guests here, observers. We cannot force knowledge. We can only accept it." The alien guided them to what appeared to be the ship's central library. Rows of storage units contained data crystals, each one humming softly as if waiting to be touched. When Malik picked one up, it projected a holographic image. A city, tall towers glowing with energy, streets filled with beings of the same kind as their guide. The city was alive with movement, but there was an underlying sense of fear, chaos, creeping through the perfect order. Rena watched the alien's eyes, reading the emotions it projected. We fell because of hubris. We reached too far, too fast. Our ambition became our prison. The words, or rather the impression, was heavy, and the team felt a shared chill. The alien had survived not just abandonment, but a catastrophe that had wiped out its civilization. Humanity, they realized, could be heading down a similar path if it was not careful. Tessa adjusted the drone to scan the chamber. "These images? They're like warnings," she said. "This civilization didn't just die. They made mistakes, dangerous mistakes." Rena nodded. "We need to understand what went wrong. Knowledge is powerful, but incomplete knowledge can be deadly." The alien moved ahead, leading them to a larger chamber that seemed to be a command center. Monitors displayed star charts, energy readings, and schematics of distant planets. One chart caught Malik's attention. It showed a system at the edge of the galaxy, planets aligned in a way that suggested a massive energy transfer, something like a chain reaction. Rena leaned in, her brow furrowing. "What is this?" The alien projected the answer into their minds. A weapon, a force beyond comprehension. It was meant to protect, but became uncontrollable. Malik's voice was quiet. "They weaponized something they couldn't control?" The alien confirmed the thought, sending a surge of emotion, fear, regret, and warning. Rena understood that the civilization had attempted to manipulate cosmic forces, forces beyond their understanding. The weapon designed to protect had destroyed their homeworlds instead. "This is terrifying," Malik said. "Could humans ever do something like this?" Rena glanced at the alien, then back at her team. "We could, but that's why we are here. To learn, to observe, to make sure history doesn't repeat itself." The alien led them to another room, smaller and more personal. It contained what seemed to be living quarters, personal belongings preserved in perfect stasis. The team recognized objects similar to what humans might use, but each one was infused with energy, almost alive. A small crystal glowed softly in the corner, radiating warmth and memories. The alien projected a memory, a celebration, beings gathered together, laughter and music flowing through the air. The crew could almost hear the sounds, feel the energy of a civilization at its peak, and then, abruptly, the memory shifted. Chaos, alarms blaring, people running, fire and energy consuming everything. The suddenness of the destruction was jarring. Tessa whispered, "It's like watching life flash before your eyes, but for an entire civilization." Rena's gaze was fixed on the alien. "Why are you showing us this?" she asked. The telepathic impression came clear and urgent. "So you understand, so you do not make the same mistakes." Malik swallowed hard. "It's giving us a warning, not just history, but a lesson." The alien then led them deeper into the ship, to a chamber that seemed to pulse with energy. The walls were lined with devices that hummed, emitted low-frequency vibrations, and projected faint light. Rena realized this must have been the heart of the ship's power system, the source of the energy that had once driven the civilization's greatest achievements, and its downfall. "This is incredible," Malik said, eyes wide. "The technology, it's beyond anything we know. If humans could study this safely—" Rena interrupted gently. "Safely is the key word. Curiosity must be tempered with caution. Remember what we just saw, the power that destroyed an entire civilization." The alien extended its hand to a panel, and the energy in the room pulsed stronger. A holographic projection appeared, showing distant galaxies, and then zoomed in on the edge of one system, the same one Malik had noticed earlier. The projection highlighted a planet with a thin atmosphere, surrounded by swirling energy fields. The impression came again, urgent and powerful. Danger approaches. Forces beyond understanding are moving. You must be ready. Rena felt a chill. It's warning us, not just about the past, but about something that could affect the future. Malik's eyes were wide. We need to take this back to humanity. They need to know. Not yet, Rena said firmly. We need to understand it fully first. We cannot bring back half the story and expect people to act wisely. The alien's eyes shimmered with approval, as if recognizing her wisdom. It guided them back to the bridge, then paused, looking directly at each member of the team. The impression was clear. Learn. Prepare. Protect. The team spent the rest of the day documenting everything they could. They recorded holographic data, took detailed scans of alien devices, and wrote careful notes about the lessons encoded in the ship's history. Every moment felt precious, as though they were touching the remnants of a civilization that had once reached for the stars, and failed. Rena could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. Humanity had always been brave, curious, and resourceful. That courage had carried them to the stars, made them explorers and innovators. But it was also the same courage that, if unchecked, could lead to catastrophe. The aliens' lessons were not just history, they were guidance, a way to channel human ambition safely, wisely, and for the good of all. As evening approached, the alien led them to a small observation deck overlooking the dead planet below. The wreck hung silently above its surface, a ghost of the past, and in the distance, the stars glimmered like distant fires. The alien projected one final vision: a civilization reborn from knowledge, where mistakes of the past were corrected, where ambition and caution coexisted, and where explorers could reach the stars safely. Rina felt a surge of hope. Humanity had the same potential. The alien's presence, its trust, and its willingness to teach reminded her why they had become explorers in the first place. Courage, curiosity, and intelligence were not just traits. They were responsibilities. Malik broke the silence. "Commander, it's incredible. I can't believe we're seeing this. We're standing in a bridge between history and the future." "Yes," Rena said softly, "and it's up to us to carry it forward, not for glory, not for power, but for knowledge, understanding, and survival." The alien lingered, watching them. Its form shimmered faintly, a constant reminder of the fragility and resilience of life. And for the first time, the crew understood that this being had survived not just because of technology, but because of its wisdom. The same wisdom they must now embrace. That night, as the team rested on the bridge, Rena reflected on everything they had learned. The wreck was no longer just a relic. It was a teacher, a guide, and a warning. Humanity's place in the universe was uncertain, but they had the tools, the courage, and now the guidance to navigate it wisely. Outside, the stars continued to shine. Indifferent to human ambition and alien wisdom alike, inside, the alien's presence remained, silent yet alive, a bridge between past and future, watching and waiting to see how humanity would respond. Rena closed her eyes for a brief moment, letting herself rest. Tomorrow they would continue exploring, continue learning, and continue preparing for whatever challenges the cosmos might throw their way. But for now they had survived, they had understood, and they had formed a bond, one that would shape not just their mission, but potentially the destiny of human civilization among the stars. And in the quiet of the ship, the alien's gaze remained on them. A silent guardian of knowledge, a witness to human courage, and a reminder that even in the vast, cold reaches of space, the spirit of exploration and the hope of humanity could endure. The night on the wreck was quiet, but the silence felt alive, almost charged with anticipation. Rena and her team had learned more than they had ever imagined possible. They knew the story of the ancient civilization, the power they had wielded, and the mistakes that had led to their downfall. Now, the alien watched them with something like expectation, as if daring them to rise to the challenge humanity had never faced before. Rena moved to the observation deck, looking out at the dead planet below. The wreck hung above it, a ghostly reminder of ambition unchecked, but the stars beyond twinkled with endless possibility. Humanity had reached for those stars before, and now, guided by knowledge older than their species, they had the chance to shape the future wisely. "Commander," Malik whispered from behind her, "the alien. It's showing me something new. Energy readings, distant systems, movement. Something's out there." Rena felt the same pulse in her mind. The alien was communicating, not just memories now, but warnings. A cosmic force, unstable and dangerous, was moving closer. The same kind of energy that had once destroyed its civilization was awakening again, and this time, it might reach human space. "Prepare the ship," Rena ordered. "We're not leaving empty-handed. We need knowledge, we need records, and we may need to act. Everyone, cameras and scanners active. Malik, interface with the ship's systems. Tessa, coordinate the drone and record everything. We move together. No mistakes." The alien led them to the ship's power core. Massive conduits hummed, glowing faintly as the alien's presence activated them further. Rena felt the energy under her feet, raw and potent, dangerous if misused. She glanced at her team. "This is not a weapon. Not yet. But it could be. We must be careful." Malik interfaced with a console, eyes scanning alien symbols. "I can stabilize the core," he said. "I think I can adapt it to human tech, safely harness the energy without triggering anything catastrophic." Rena nodded. "Do it. But slowly. The alien is guiding us for a reason. We don't want to repeat history." As Malik worked, Tessa's drone swept the corridors. Shadows moved again, not from the alien, but from the energy itself. The ship's systems had memory, and the corridors flickered with holographic echoes of past events. Crew members of the ancient civilization appeared for brief moments, walking, working, laughing, then gone, leaving only the faint hum of power and the chill of space. The alien moved beside Rena, extending its hand toward a panel that displayed star maps and energy flows. She understood the impression instantly. The approaching cosmic force was not just energy. It was life-consuming, a chain reaction of unstable matter that could consume entire star systems if left unchecked. "This is why you survived," Rena whispered to the alien. "You were left to warn others, and we can do something." The alien's form shimmered, communicating approval and urgency. Rena turned to her team. "We're not just explorers anymore. We're the first line of defense. Humanity has the courage, the ingenuity, and the technology to act, but we must work together, trust each other, and trust the alien's guidance." The team moved quickly, following the alien through hidden corridors that led to control chambers they had not yet explored. The wreck itself seemed to respond, corridors shifting, doors unlocking, energy conduits pulsing. It was as if the ship recognized the urgency and was willing to help. Malik connected to a control console that interfaced with the ship's navigation systems. "I can redirect energy flows. Create a containment field," he said, sweat on his brow. "It'll buy time for human forces, if we can hold it together." Rena's gaze was steady. "Do it. Everyone else, assist him. Tessa, monitor every reading. We cannot afford mistakes." The alien projected a series of images into their minds. Coordinates, energy calculations, timing sequences. Rena interpreted them and relayed instructions. The alien's telepathy and the human team's ingenuity combined, creating a seamless collaboration. Systems hummed, lights pulsed, and energy channels aligned perfectly, creating a lattice designed to stabilize the approaching threat. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. The cosmic force was closer than expected. Alarms, human and alien, blared in a cacophony that shook the hull. Shadows danced across the walls, not illusions this time, but energy surges, raw and dangerous. Malik's hands flew over the console. "We're close! Just a few more adjustments!" Rena's voice was calm, authoritative. "Stay focused. We've come this far. Human courage and ingenuity brought us here. We finish it together." The alien moved to a control panel that had been dormant until now. Its touch ignited the system fully, causing energy to spiral and coil like a living thing. The hull vibrated as the lattice extended outward, projecting into space beyond the wreck, a shimmering net of containment. The cosmic force arrived like a shadow wave, energy cascading across the void, massive, unstoppable, consuming everything in its path. But as it met the containment lattice, the force faltered, slowed, and then stabilized. The ship's systems absorbed, redirected, and dampened the energy. Rena felt the relief in her chest, tempered by the knowledge that this was only temporary. Humanity had been given a chance, a warning, and a tool. The alien turned to her, communicating clearly this time. You have the courage, the ingenuity, the will. Humanity can rise. Rena nodded. We will. We promise. The team worked for hours, stabilizing the systems, carefully recording the aliens' technology and the methods used to contain the cosmic force. Malik marveled at the technology, but Rena kept him grounded. We are here to learn and protect, not to dominate. Remember that. Tessa's drone captured everything, ensuring that when humanity received the data, it would be complete, accurate, and usable. The alien lingered nearby, guiding them, teaching them, and silently trusting them. Finally, when the immediate danger had passed, Rena gathered the team. We've done it. We've faced something that could have ended countless civilizations, but more importantly, we've learned. We've connected with an intelligence far beyond our own and survived. That's human ingenuity, courage, and heart. The alien projected one final image, a galaxy filled with light, stars connected by energy currents, civilizations thriving. Then it turned its gaze to the team, and for the first time, Rena felt the alien's full trust, as if it knew humanity was ready to take its place among the stars responsibly. Malik breathed a sigh of relief. We actually did it. I can't believe we did it. Rena smiled faintly. We didn't do it alone. The alien guided us, but the rest was human spirit. That's the essence of who we are. Courage, curiosity, determination, and intelligence. That's why we can survive and thrive where others might fail. The alien moved to a console, revealing a small artifact, glowing faintly. It projected memories, knowledge, and experiences directly into the team's minds. It was a gift, a token of trust, and a seed of hope. The team understood that this artifact was more than a tool. It was a symbol of cooperation between species, a bridge between civilizations. Rena looked at her crew, pride swelling in her chest. This is what exploration is about. Not just discovery, but understanding, responsibility, and growth. We've faced the unknown, and we've risen. The wreck had been a place of fear, shadows, and silence. Now, it was a place of learning, trust, and achievement. Humanity had proven once again that even in the darkest reaches of space, their spirit could illuminate the unknown. Outside, the stars twinkled with the same indifference as always, but now they seemed to acknowledge the humans on the wreck, courageous, intelligent, and worthy. The alien lingered with them, a silent guardian and teacher, knowing that the lessons shared would echo across generations. Rena closed her eyes briefly, letting herself feel the weight of the day. They had survived, learned, and even influenced the course of cosmic events. Humanity had once again shown that its greatest strength lay not in raw power, but in its ability to think, adapt, and act with courage and wisdom. The team packed their records, documented the artifact, and prepared to return home. The alien remained on the wreck, its form shimmering, almost fading, but its presence eternal in memory and guidance. As they lifted off, Rena looked back at the wreck. The shadow of the ancient civilization lingered, but it no longer felt ominous. It was a beacon, a reminder that humanity could face the unknown, learn from the past, and rise to challenges that seemed insurmountable. "Let's go home," she said. The engines hummed, and the shuttle glided away, carrying the team, the knowledge, and the spirit of human ingenuity back toward the stars. Outside, the universe stretched endlessly, vast and unknowable. But Rena felt hope. Humanity had faced the unknown, learned from an alien civilization, and survived. And somewhere, in the silent corridors of the ancient wreck, an alien watched, knowing that the future of the human race was in capable hands, hands that would explore, protect, and rise no matter the odds. The stars watched. Humanity shone.